So today I wanted to show you something that my good friend Mia created, a way of visualizing parametric equations by using the separate functions given by their variables. And this is amazing. I could never have thought of something like this, at least not on my own. And she did it all on her own. So I must first express my utmost respect for her here because this is just frankly amazing. And it took me such a long time to really figure out how to even use this. It's that in depth in terms of thought. So she's very talented. Um, so I'll start by drawing out a grid. Oh my god, I'm so bad at drawing these. Okay, so now I have a three-dimensional grid, right? You can imagine this is the x and the y, which is not typical. You can just imagine it as it's rotated, and this is our t-axis. We can imagine then as the function of tx is coming from here, going up here, as on the horizontal plane, and the function of ty is a sine wave with double the frequency. So we can come out here and go out. So we can then start by trying to project these points on the y expression onto a plane created by the x expression here. So we can see here that it's almost straight here, not quite. It's very, very precarious to call it near straight, but it's much more near straight than we're going to get around here, right? So projecting the points onto the plane here, we can see that the frequency of points projected onto the plane here is going to be lower than, or is going to be lower here than it will be here. So as we go through the curve, the frequency is going to seem to almost get higher. So if we start to imagine this as a how do you call it, a line, it's kind of hard to draw these, but we're seeing the points follow the line onto the projection until it very sharply drops off here. And using this kind of logic we've created in our head from looking at the density of points, we can deduce by drawing a grid that because the frequency of points is fairly low here and it starts to sharply increase around here, and by thinking about if you flip it on its side, you pull it out, you pull the shape created by the sine wave here out, and you visualize it, and you can kind of trace the path of the arrows here to give you a little bit of a better understanding. You can imagine a sheet that is folded like a sine wave, and you could pull it out, and then you could see the projection on that sheet, which took me many tries to be able to do, and she seemingly was able to do it immediately, which was amazing. We can deduce that the parametric form between 0 and pi over 2 would be a low density followed by a sharp decrease in density as the function curves over itself like most Cartesian equations do. Now, this is not a particularly good rendition of the equation, but it's good at sketching the equation, not exact of course. But this idea is so amazing to me, and it brings a 3D layer of something that is typically two-dimensional, which then ties back into the themes that I really like about bringing things like imaginary numbers into real life. This is bringing a three-dimensional concept that you would never associate with typical, even A-level parametric equations, and gives you a good way of applying it. So really amazing. I can't express my respect for her. This is a really amazingly well done, and after the time it took for me to understand how to use it, I just think it's really amazing. There needs to be more people like her in this world. Very good.